Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, it is Saturday. I know some people still didn't realize Thursday has gone. They still partying. It is Saturday and you are in the E-Shack. Welcome to Junkanoo 242. You are tuned into the longest running cultural show in the Bahamas that talks everything culture, but especially highlighting Junkanoo. We are especially excited to have you as this country has now turned 52 years old. I wonder who else is celebrating with the rest of the country like us, because I know some people ain't going to sleep yet. I wonder if anybody's still on the fort.
They still I don't, you are the only person, you are the only person who think that the party is over.
Oh, jeez. All right.
So that means you weren't invited to the rest.
I couldn't keep up. I go on sleep.
Let's party.
Arlene, how are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I am well, thank you. It's good to be here. Good to be alive.
Man, I see you glowing like you was glowing
You took
on
the word
Bay Street,
right,
man.
right in the afterglow of a spectacular Independence Day.
The afterglow
Yes.
Yeah, the
of
afterglow.
a spectacular.
Isn't it?
What amazes me is the thing she says when she has this cup with her.
Yeah.
I believe there's a direct correlation between the cup and her vocabulary. I am absolutely convinced of that.
This is how he begs to taste my drink. My Coke, my ginger ale, and this morning it's cranberry juice in there.
Well, I have a secret. I had a conversation with one Mr. Maxwell Ferguson before we came in here. And he said, Darren, I know it's in the cup there.
Bad for
But
my
just-
reputation.
But just to protect her integrity,
Yes.
I will say it's vodka.
Protecting you to it.
Oops, I forgot.
It's a good thing you didn't say what
What?
I would really been in trouble. You all need to stop.
As y'all can see, we are still in the what Arlene
Oh,
calls
yeah.
the afterglow
Oh, yeah.
of the People's Rush. And guess what? We have an exciting show that's lined up for you.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we have actually some of the honorees that we're going to be interviewing more in depth, as you heard their biography during the ceremony. But before we go any further, Arlene, would you get us started with our prayer, please?
Absolutely. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, for the gift of life, we give you thanks. For our nation, we pray for peace, prosperity, and principle, recovery, and restoration. And for ourselves, we pray for wisdom to use all of your gifts wisely, but especially the gift of Junkanoo, so that we may honor you, serve your people, build better communities, a better Bahamas, and by extension, a better world. Amen.
Amen. Proud to be Bahamian. What you got this morning?
Let me jump in one day.
This ain't no give it to me.
No,
straight.
no,
You
no,
said-
sure.
you said when you
I
got
can
something to
take
say.
it all
yeah.
straight. Yeah. Well, of course, we are talking independence, and
100%.
so we will be getting into the People's Rush and the honorees and all of that. But for me, a very special moment. Oh, it was, I gotta be careful. I don't want to say it was the non-pareil because I'll never hear the end of that.
The non-pariah.
I can't use no words with more than 2 syllables around there.
It and act.
There was,
And there.
there was a moment when one family girls who were already spectacular, right down to their gold shoes and the pearls is what got me. The attention to
Did you
detail.
clutch your pearls?
And I clutched them. The attention to detail was incredible. But when they formed themselves into that 52, let me tell you, and the drone is right in place to capture it from overhead. Let me tell you something. That is next level stuff.
Next dimension.
That is next level. That gave me goosebumps. That was absolutely incredible. Congratulations to everybody. But if I had to pick one special moment.
That
They
would be
outdid,
it.
yeah, man. They outdid themselves on that. Yeah.
Wow.
No, I can't.
So
look
define
52.
non-parial. See, we haven't moved past that
That
yet.
yeah, it means without equal.
Without
Shakespeare
equal.
used it in the play Macbeth. Thou art the non-parial, he told his wife.
You hear that?
Well, in case
Without
you didn't
equal.
know, this is a show
Without equal.
for education also.
Yeah.
We do our part here, then.
You see how this
We do
provoke
our
me
part here.
and make sport of me. Yeah, you see that? You see that?
You are the non-parial.
This is it.
Boy, that's a good rap line now, Park.
Go home and use that lighting. All right.
Write it down now.
I think where this is going.
It's so difficult to soar like an eagle. I'll leave the rest. Dot, dot, dot.
But Arlene, in that vein, I think the JDA is to be commended for the organization of the People's Love and Unity Rush. It is something that the country now looks forward to, not just the Junkanoo community. It is something on the calendar, and everybody comes out to make sure that they're a part of that People's Rush.
You're right.
And you know what got me was when the event of the ecumenical service was postponed because of rain.
That's right.
Everybody was calling, we have a Junkanoo today? We have a Junkanoo today?
That's right.
We have a Junkanoo.
Darren, that
was a
even
panic.
shocked. It was a panic. That even shocked me because the phone for every committee member never stopped ringing and people were in a panic. I mean, I always knew Bahamians love Junkanoo and this has become a major event on the calendar, but the kind of panic that people felt when they thought there would be no parade that night, we rush in the rain before. Y'all better don't think about putting that off. We know how to rush in the rain. We going regardless. And people were absolutely frantic.
Yes.
And so it was beautiful, and the weather, God is good. The weather was beautiful. You even could see the moon out there. It was
full moon.
Full moon. It was fabulous.
Which edition of the People's Rushes was that?
The first rush was in the year 2000. There should have been the 26th.
Right.
But we were off for 2 years because of COVID. So this was the 24th annual People's Love and Unity Rush. So we'll talk about it more when we get into the show because we want to hear from our guest as well. But I had to sneak that in there. I'll never be able to look the number 52 in the eye again.
Never. They were the non-parade.
What I have to deal with.
Folks, we run into our first break. When we get back, we're going to officially introduce our guest for this morning and this topic. And we'll have you chime in also. You're tuning in to Junkanoo 242. We'll be right back.
You all and congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, it
We're
was
feeling the love.
Then let's get right to it. You're sucking it in. Oh yeah. You know, it's really I think the most sincere and genuine tribute comes from your peers.
Yes.
From, people bestowing awards on you, organizations and whatnot is one thing.
Right.
But the people who have been in the trenches with you, who have seen you up close, and who have decided that, we need to make sure they know how we feel about them now.
Oof.
And
particularly if Bahamians do it.
Yeah. What happened? We got bad ways.
We ain't that we have bad ways. We just ain't gonna give it to you easy.
Okay.
Always they tell you in the coffin.
We ain't gonna give it to you easy.
You gotta earn it.
You gotta earn it.
So when you get it, you know you really deserve it.
You gotta put that in your pocket and button up the
pocket.
pocket.
Smoke it.
Interestingly, all the comments on my Facebook page is well deserved. Well deserved. Well deserved. So I'm like, wow, okay, we really worked for this one.
Beautiful.
I had some people say to me, hey man, I've known you for a long time in Junkanoo, but I didn't know you did all of that stuff.
There you go.
You know,
and I had to shorten it a couple minutes.
Say you really work hard.
Yes.
Say you really, really deserve this. Say, job well done. And to this day, when some people talk to me about it, some of the stuff I don't even remember I did in Junkanoo. It's just how many stuff I've been doing.
Wow.
And I just was giving myself to Junkanoo. I was 100% into it, dedicated with it.
Yes.
Totally immersed.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I was one of the quiet ones. So a lot of people who don't know me, don't know what I was doing.
Yeah. And that's the other part about it. The unsung heroes, because there are some names in Junkanoo that everybody knows, but then you have these people in many ways behind the scenes who do not get the credit and the recognition that they deserve, and that's one of the beautiful things about that award as well. And so we got so much to talk about. So let's start first of all, and I keep harping on this, but to hear what you all just said, it is so important for us in Rawson Square on Independence Morning with a parade pending. It is so important to take that time to recognize your contributions. And, I keep going back to this because I was really irritated when I saw this comment last year that, we taking so long to start the parade and all these long speeches, and that was not true, number one, because as you know from what was submitted, it was very abbreviated, but it managed to hit the high spots. But my point is, when I heard that comment, my reaction was that could not be a Junkanoo who said that.
Right.
Because every Junkanoo knows there's a possibility that one day they'll be standing.
They could be right there.
Correct.
Exactly.
Right.
Correct.
And so we made it a point this year to say the parade will start 1:30. We are honoring our heroes at 1 o'clock. So anybody who don't want to come could wait till 1:30 and come, because we are going to give you your due. And case closed. So let's get into your personal histories for persons who either were not out there or who did not hear. Let's hear your personal history in Junkanoo. Linda, start us off. Tell us about Linda Stubbs. Why did the JDA see fit to honor Linda Christina Stubbs? Tell us.
Wow.
And we allow you to toot your own horn.
Me and my daughter will be like livid. Mommy, stop bragging.
Tell her, Anna. Arlene said you got it flaunted.
Listen, okay, so my Junkanoo career started, I must have been about 16. I started out with the brothers. They were a scrap group that came out of the valley, but this was not the valley. This was the upper class valley.
Excuse me. Boy, you said
the phone line is tiring it now. I can see you thinking goat skin. Call it now.
Unless he was in the bar, she don't
This was
oh my God. The views
not necessarily.
So this was the Bar 20 Corner Valley, not the Culmersville Valley. Okay? It wasn't far apart, but anyways.
You done throw that rock, you can't break that.
Yes, well, it's okay.
But the valley started in Montrose and Mount Royal.
Right.
But
we considered us East as Valley as well.
I gotcha.
But Valley was never a group that attracted me.
Okay.
For some reason, I always loved Saxons. Even if probably the name, I don't know what it was, but Saxons was it. After leaving that one lap with the brothers, I moved over to the Saxons. Danny brought me to the Saxons. Okay, we were dating at the time. And, well, of course, Wooler was opposed. You remember that, Ali?
Yes.
Willa said it was an omen for women to
women were bad luck. Yeah. You all didn't know that, eh? The Saxons considered females to be bad luck.
Yes.
Absolutely.
He was not accepting of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was deep in the back line. And of course, I don't like to be in the back of nowhere.
Nobody.
So...
Yeah, lead from the back. No. You lead from the
front.
That's where leaders be.
She's a Bahamian. She know how to poke.
No, I could not take that back, deep in the back there. Mm-hmm. So I did a year or so in there, and then I met Papa San Isabella. Mm-hmm. And he was always like the hottest Bella in the line. Mm-hmm. He was really good. And he said, if you are serious about your commitment to ringing bells, I'll teach you some things. Nice. And he did. And, I'm just fast forwarding. I remember I got to the point, Darlene, where we practiced on Mason's Edition Park.
Yeah, I remember that.
And up and down that tiny park.
They don't practice on Mason's Edition Park no more.
Listen, I looked at the park the other day and I said,
wonder how all these people
did we do that? But we were up and down that park. Mm-hmm. And I remember people like... what's the name of the guy? We saw him on Bay Street. Michael Foster, and several of them from the Valley. They all came when they heard about my ability to ring bells, and they would always come to watch at the Saxons practice on a Thursday before they went to their park. And I started to grow in popularity and so on until eventually I made that front line.
There you go. Woo! Right up front.
Right up front. And I had to contend with Goldie, and I had to contend with this
people
guy.
Like Peter Rabbit and
all
Jay Fox.
Yeah.
Legendary Saxon Bellas.
But I tell them, look here, y'all should be happy to have me up here. Cute in the middle of y'all.
Cute girls.
Cute. And so... we were up. I rang bells in the Saxons front line until the day came when there was a split.
Right.
With one family.
93.
That's 93. Yeah, you're the historian. When we had the split, I went over with yourself, Arlene. Were you there too?
I was in university.
You were in university. Okay, so it was the Burnside brothers and several others, and Silbert and all of us. We went and formed one family. So of course, I didn't have to fight for that line.
No.
Yeah, that came automatically, and I did that for a while, and then Gus kept saying, "Give us a lot. Give me a lot. Give me a lot." And I said, Gus. So it wasn't until word went out that Gus had died. Did you hear that? When he had that open heart surgery?
I remember the first time.
Yeah, and it wasn't true, but I said, oh my God, he died, and I didn't even give him a lot. So I was happy it wasn't true, and I was able to join the Valley, and I think I stayed there for about 4 parades. I was no Valley.
No.
Okay.
But to this day, as your bio says, what is significant is that to this day, you are the only person, male or female, to have been a front line beller with the Valley, the Saxons, and one family.
Yes. The 3 A category groups.
Incredible.
So no one else has that legacy. And there's something about being a female and being good, being excellent. So I always enjoyed ringing bells. It was a challenge. The calluses and the blisters and rushing down.
You never wore gloves?
I didn't like gloves. I couldn't grip my bells properly with gloves. No.
Okay.
And and then I remember one lap with the Saxons after I returned to the Saxons one morning. Because I told them, don't cut my costume down. Just what the guys carrying. Not the guys. What the niggas got. I want that. So I told them, don't cut my belt down. And And so, man, listen, it was a windy morning. Y'all remember that, Arlene? People had to stench us.
To stench your costume, I remember.
They had to stench us on Bay Street. And something popped loose in my costume. And this wire was just piercing in my back.
Oh, I could feel it.
The thing about it is you had so much pride.
Yeah.
You don't come off the line to talk about you getting pierced with no wire.
And you want the same costume with the niggas got?
And
Feel the pain, boss.
Let me tell you something. They got their piercings too. But I was able to check that wound on Elizabeth Avenue.
Yeah.
But no, Belling has brought me a lot of notoriety in Junkanoo.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen some other women. In fact, there's a lady that rushed with the Valley. I don't know her name, but she's just been a steady Bella. Just, on the sidelines. And I think there's also one in the Saxons. But
in 1976, Joan McCook said to Silbert she wants to rush with him. They were living across the street from us.
Right.
And she joined the music maker line with Sil.
Okay.
In 76.
And then there's Emma. Emma from the Saxons. Who played Girlfriend. You remember Emma? Yeah.
And then Darren's aunt, Tiny, was one of the first Bellas in one family. Tiny was the only female down the side.
Was she the one with all the jewelry?
She used to be not locks, no.
Okay. I don't remember Tiny. Y'all had her on the side. I was in the front. But anyway, no, that's just a joke. But no, on a serious note, I've had an illustrious career in Junkanoo. And just to think that my mother never allowed me to go to Junkanoo.
There you go.
Never allowed me to go.
Life is full of ironies.
You know something? I promise, since changing my religion recently, I have promised I will never say never.
Yeah.
I will never say never.
I agree.
Because
you just don't know.
You just
don't know. The
old
people say you ain't passing nothing till you're
dead. Exactly. And I said this week as well that, we make our plans. God orders our footsteps.
Absolutely.
So we can plan as much as we like. There is no guarantee that what you plan will be manifested.
Amen.
You understand what I'm saying? So I just want to say, and I'll remember and interject later on in the conversation, but not to belabor this and to let my colleague here have his turn to speak. Junkanoo has been the heart and soul of my life. I looked forward to Christmas. My children can tell you. Alan, you remember the year when in my house of 4, everybody was rushing a different group.
Yes.
I left.
That was too cute. Robin stayed with one family. He refused to move.
Refused to leave one family.
And you
and the child should lead them.
Yeah.
So Robin stayed with one family. Owen was with the Saxons. I was with the Valley. And my daughter was with the Prodigal
Sons. Yeah. And so I think that was the United Nations right there.
Listen, we have so much history.
Yeah.
So, but and the many Christmases with no dinner. But
we know all about that.
We know we were happy with our rochers and nuts.
Dinner.
While we battled on our
packing
costumes.
straight through.
Packing straight through. No Christmas dinner.
Beautiful.
But we were happy we had costumes.
Yeah. So what I would like to do, Sean, please, is let us run to our break now, since it's coming up in about 5 or 6 minutes. And when we come back, we'll start fresh with Clint. So ladies and gentlemen, please bear with us. We're running to our next break. When we return, we will hear the story of the famous Mr. Clint Wilson, no matter how he tries to downplay it. We'll be right back.
From the Junkanoo Library, filed under P for People's Rush. The 23rd Annual Independence People's Love and Unity Rush gave thousands of Bahamians an opportunity to celebrate our independence in our own unique way. Estimated to be the largest crowd ever in attendance, thousands of people converged on Bay Street in aquamarine, black and gold. Some in wheelchair, some with cane, but all to mark our 52nd anniversary of independence. And when it was over, a well-behaved and jubilant people had again made themselves proud. Our Junkanoo, we are so proud of it.
Welcome to Junkanoo 242, the whistle blow when we all lined up. I just want to say every time we read this and the people's rush and we say, and estimated to be the largest crowd. Every year is the largest crowd.
But that's true. It's growing and growing every year.
And it is a good thing. You know,
every year.
This morning we're looking back at the people's rush, but we are also saluting the honorees, and we are talking to them live in studio. And we want to get the story of this young man. A lot of people don't know this calm collective, and we're going to hear directly from him. Let's get it on, Mr. Clint.
Good morning, Junkanoo world. My journey really started in 1976. You know, as a little boy, I grew up in a Junkanoo environment. You know, Junkanoo was all around me. You know, I grew up on Market and Cameron Street.
Cameron Street.
Yeah,
the Johnsons.
The Johnsons,
right?
The Johnsons.
Jello is my good friend.
That's where it all started for me, because the Johnson brothers, you know, they were into Junkanoo.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, what a lot of people don't know, they were members of the Lollipop Boys. And the Lollipop Boys was a group of guys from Cameron Street, Martin Street, Taylor Street. You know, and that's how I got into Junkanoo. You know, Lincoln, Levi, you know, those guys were really serious about it. And as a little boy, I just used to sit and watch them, you know. And I said, you know what, this is something I want to do.
Wow.
So they had a shack right on the side where I was living, and
that made it easy.
Yeah, every day I would go there, and you know, back in those days, you just couldn't walk in the shop.
No child.
You could go there and just stand to the door. So that's what I used to do.
That's when you had to earn your stripes, Jerry.
What made it easier for me was that they knew me. Right? And I guess one of the brothers saw the interest in me. So he just said, you know, so you want to do Junkanoo? I said, yeah, I don't mind. So they said, okay, you could start cleaning up around the So I say, good.
That's the good old days.
So,
earn your stripes.
As a little boy, I didn't mind doing whatever it takes to get involved in Junkanoo.
These young people nowadays want to jump right in the front line without paying any dues.
So,
please.
And at that time, that's when they moved away from the Lollipop Boys, came with the Lollipop Boys, that they joined up with the Saxons at that time. So I fall right in line with that too. So the guys them tell me, say, hey, if you want to be a part of us and you want to rush, you got to prove to us that you could do this.
Yeah.
So for the next 2 years, at the end of the day, I was cleaning up the shop.
Initiation.
Yes.
Yeah, I was cleaning up the shop. Send me to the shop. I had to go up the road to the bakery to get flour from out the garbage to carry it back to the mix.
Wow. Purity Bakery.
Yeah, I had to how to cook the flour, and you know you got to know how to cook that right.
It's a process.
Yeah. You know, and then
it used to be a process.
Well, it used to be,
you know, one of the things I used to do when I cleaned up the shop, all the loose papers, I used to keep it.
Yeah.
I used to keep
That's
it.
how you learn how to paste.
When the shop closed, I got a piece of cardboard and I trying to learn how to paste and all of this type of thing. And I think it was my second year when they gave me the opportunity to say, okay, you could paste? I said, yeah. Okay. The next thing I know, I see some old stinking tennis come out. And you know, they start pasting these tennis. You know, so now
you gotta stop them first.
Yeah, I had to paste like 5 pairs of tennis. You know, and then they go on from there, and then they say, okay, yeah, you can start pasting on the pants. You know, and then the next thing, start pasting on the shirt. And then when I did get an opportunity to start paste on the costume, they say, yeah, paste on the back of the stage.
Yes, start in the back.
So it all was a process.
Yes.
It all was a process.
You
and
work your way
just
right up.
stayed right there, and I just watch and I learn and I learn and I learn as I go.
Wow.
And you know, I love music as well, and at the same time, I got involved in the Boys Brigade. And being in the Boys Brigade, actually in the company, I was a part of St. Agnes.
That's Fort Bahamas.
Fort Bahamas.
Oh, yeah, we used to beat you all the time.
So, yeah, we was in a big company, but then the one good thing is we were together.
Yeah.
You know, and basically everybody. And like I say, a lot of people in St. Agnes were Saxons.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, Father Thompson, well, I mean, he
Yeah.
wasn't there then, but Father Thompson was a big Saxon.
Right. So,
slimy and yeah.
Yeah, so all of that kind of drawn in, and then I got into instruments. I got into music, and then they sent me to the band. So I started to learn how to play different instruments, and I ended up playing quite a bit of different instruments. You know, snare drum, bass drum, tenor drum, you know, trumpet, trombone, you know. So I became pretty good at that, and I integrate all of that into Junkanoo. So, my alias, a lot of people know me as Bam Bam, and they know me. They call me Bam Bam because I was so good at the drums. You know, I was so good at the drums, and you know, in Junkanoo, beating drums was my thing. You know, and you know, just to move it up a little bit, as a little boy, I always say, I want to have a costume. You know, I used to see these nice costumes. I said, I want to have a costume, but I couldn't get in that window. So one day I went around to Taylor Street by Gay, and I just went by a shack and I just stand up to the door, watching him. And you know, back in them days, those guys never used to let any and everybody paste on their costume. Sometimes some of them paste their own costume by themselves.
That's right.
You know, so I just watching him,
Right.
watching him, and then. He said to me, you could paste? I said, yeah. So he said, I get inside to get something to eat. And you know, back then when they used to build a costume, they used to have that piece right to the ground, what used to dry. He said, I want you to paste that piece there for me. So he give me the papers, he set me up and everything. I said, okay, good. He gone inside. He been inside for half an hour. I went Gay, come back out Gay, look at the Gay, say, you paste that? I said, yeah. He said, man, I need to put you on the front of this costume.
Instant promotion. Let's
go. You paste that so clean. So you know nobody can see that. That can be
nice.
So you know, I as a young boy, I take everything with pride.
Yes.
You know, everything I was doing, I take it with pride.
Yes.
And next thing I know, he had me doing little pasting on the front of his costume. Now somebody went and tell Kenny Mary. Say, your little cousin around the corner, pasting on Gay costume.
Kenny Mary was legend.
Yeah, so when I looked, I got pasting. Kenny came, and he just looked.
So he's your cousin. He was your cousin.
Yeah, he just
You
looked.
want him to see
And he pacing for Gay.
Yeah, and
Pacing for the enemy, right?
No, ain't the enemy.
He just hop on his
They
bike
in the
and he
same
gone.
group, but the competition
Yeah, and
is
stuff.
Yeah, he just hop on his bike and he gone. So I stayed there that whole evening. I pace. So now when I gone home, when I walk in the house, my grandmother said to me, let this be the last time you go through Taylor Street.
That's what your grandma tell you.
So when she said that to me, right then I knew what was happening.
Yeah, Kenny
And
done to
from
report you.
From then I was pacing for Kenny.
That was it.
And when I went to Kenny Mary, he even didn't say we'll go on the back. From then I was pacing the centerpiece of his costume. And Kenny, I mean, you know Kenny had no big crew. He had a small team.
And you couldn't go in his shack either, but
Where his shack was, Clint?
We had a shack in
Somewhere
Hospital
down,
Lane.
yeah.
We had a shack in Hospital Lane. And then after a while, we moved from Hospital Lane, and then we went in my grandmother yard right on Market Street, Market and Cameron Street. And that particular shack, you couldn't get in there. We built a shack with no door.
I see.
And back then, Kenny Mary used to build a shack with just wood and cardboard.
yeah,
So we never had no door.
you
So,
frame it with wood.
right, you'll come there, walking around the shack trying to figure out how to get in.
How to get in?
Only us, we know how to get in, but nobody else. And we'll have people out there, how you get inside here?
Wow.
And all thing we do, we just laughing,
You don't
laughing.
need to know.
That's how it was. It was me. I paced the center of the costume. It was Anton Newbold, Froggy.
Oh,
It was
he
K.
used to
Robbie.
base for me too at one
Yeah,
point.
it was K. Robbie and
Ah.
Nelson Bevins.
Bevin,
And it was just us. That was a solid team. Nelson had the back of the costume because he could pace straight and he could do it fast. Anton had one side, K. Robbie had the other side. I always had the middle.
Wow.
And the only thing Kenny used to do was to provide us with whatever it is that we need to do the work, and we go to work. I mean, we spent countless days in the shop, hours. Some days, sometimes we don't go home. We need the bed. We smelling. We ain't getting home. We make sure we can get our food. Sometimes we skip work, because we had a competition in our shop. Everybody had a section and it's like, let's see who can finish this quick. So some days, Anton, he wake, and on his lunch break, he run to the shack and he pace. Sometimes I wait to the hotel, so I couldn't break like that. So what I used to do, I used to take a whole day off.
So much jobs lost.
Right.
Somebody need to do a study on that.
I made a lot of sacrifices.
Yes.
We made a lot of sacrifices. I know days come around the Christmas time. Some days we never hardly eat.
Yeah.
You don't even want to leave the shack. So all of that is what made me.
It's a passion.
What made me even as good as I is today in Junkanoo. And another thing too, I tell guys, I say, look, every year we go to Bay Street. Okay? We go to Bay Street every year, Boxing Day, New Year's Day. I say, if you go there and you don't learn something, don't make no sense you go in. I say, because not only you have ideas, other fellas them have stuff on their costume, they have ideas too that you could take and you can
look and learn.
You can say, you know what? I can do something like this, but I can just add something else to it. And a lot of people don't do that. Like I tell a lot of fellas to this day, you got fellas who grumble and say, oh, they need to pick me. They need to pick me for the jacket. I say, man, that's a process. I say, look at me. I say, it took me 49 years, and I get it. I say, but it's a process. I say, the thing is I say, a lot of guys feel as if you could just go in the shop, get a costume, go to Bay Street Rush, and that's that. I say,
and then you become a legend.
Yeah. I say, it's a whole lot more.
Pay the price for our legendary status.
It came down to a point one time where I used to spend so many times in the shop, it was interfering with my marriage after I got married. And my wife said to me one day, she said, why don't you bring your costume home? And it hit me, and I said, you know what? I said, that's true, I could do this home. So she said to me, look, you could use the front room as your shop and do it. So just have the place cleaned up for Christmas Day. And I go on with that, and I in return leave the shack and start bringing my stuff home. And I had the whole front room for myself, and I just started basing it up. The good thing is with that is that she got into it afterwards, because mind you, let me just go back here. When I first met her, she was a strong Wally voice. She was because she was from the Grove.
This was a mixed marriage.
Yeah, so I got it. When we got married and everything, and she started to see just how deep I really was into it. She got involved in it, and then she started helping me out. She learned how to pace. She started pacing. She used to decorate all my costumes. So taking Junkanoo home and using the front room as my shop.
And plus,
made a big difference.
It made a
and
huge
saved the marriage.
It saved the marriage.
It made a
I know the
huge
feeling.
So Kenny Fox was a big name.
Big dog.
Those were the days when you don't judge the parade till the leads come. Everybody wants to see who got the best leads. When I think of Kenny Fox, I think about the porcupine.
Yeah.
I think about, I think you did the butterfly one time.
Remember now.
Then I think you did Rastaman Vibration or something like that. That's y'all too, right?
That Kenny was in a part of that one. That was Confrontation.
That's Confrontation.
Yeah, he was in a part of it. That's when he just stepped back.
And what else? Then I think about the Jack of Spades.
Blackjack.
Blackjack.
Yeah. Paradise.
And then you did the lobster thermidor.
Yeah. Eat more tails.
But Kenny was a cockfight.
Black backyard beauty.
Yes.
Wow, what a list.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
those were the. And like you said, and I can appreciate there was a process in going in the thing.
Yeah.
So as you were
came
talking,
up
I
through
can
the
tell him,
ranks,
I can
yeah.
say the
Yeah.
same thing.
He
Same
came
process
up
you went
through the ranks,
And-
and that's how it used to
Yeah.
be.
And one of the thing is that what was so fascinating, that what made us felt so appreciated, that Kenny never wanted his costume to go to Bay Street on the truck.
Mm.
Oh,
We
You all
walked
walk
the
it out.
costume to Bay Street every year. And the thing about it is that we found out that people on Bay Street was waiting to hear Kenny Mary coming. People used to leave Bay Street and walk up there by Central Bank to see Kenny Mary costume coming. And that was something that was so fascinating to us, man. We felt like, hey, everybody come to see us.
Celebrities.
Yeah. People used to actually leave. When the word get out there and say, Kenny Mary coming, people used to actually leave Bay Street, walk over the hill just to see Kenny Mary costume coming over the hill.
Wow.
You know? And we were really dominant in that lead costume category. A lot of fellas fairs. I remember one time, Barabbas, we bucked to a funeral, and him and his brothers was there. It was me, K. Robbie, Frogs, and Nelson. And he said to his brothers, he said, look, he said, you see these guys here? He said, you gotta watch out for them. Say, if you're going up in a competition against them, you gotta watch out for them, because these fellas, them are pretty good. Let me just give you all another story on with Skinner.
Skinner Curtis?
Yeah. The year when Skinner, remember the year when Skinner had the Billy Goat
Yeah, Billy Go Gruff.
up on top of the hill?
Yeah.
Skinner was getting left.
let's feed the nation.
Yeah, let's be the nation.
We had the cornucopia.
Mm-hmm.
We had the cornucopia finished, must see, a week ahead of time. When one evening Kenny gone up on the hill, Kenny came back, he said, guys, say we need to talk. Now I trying to figure, I said, now this costume finished. I wonder if he want to
I don't want.
He done add stuff to the costume. And that was his kind of thing. So I
Yeah, I'm
listened.
finished.
So
No,
he
we
said,
don't
"Man."
finish, we stop.
Yeah. He said, man, say, I just been up on the hill saying, Skinner ain't gonna make it. Say, Skinner can get leave. I say, so I say, but that's a good thing. I say, at least we ain't gonna
That internal competition is all players.
Before Clint finished, right? Listen to the irony when he finished.
Yeah.
Watch the irony.
So here it is that
By the
Kenny
way,
say, man,
man,
we
this-
gotta go. We say, man, let's go help him out.
Yeah.
At first I say, no, but you ain't gonna help him. So, you know, the rest guy say, yeah, man. I said, you know, Skinner's our boy. I say, okay then, let's go.
Let's go.
We went up there. Kenny carried us up there. And we started pasting on this costume before 12 o'clock that night. Skinner was ready to go to bed.
No.
Wow.
We had him knocked out and ready to go to. And guess what happened after that?
Yeah.
On the parade.
He
He
went.
went best costume.
That's the irony. That's the irony right
So
there.
every time I see Skinner, I always tell Skinner, I say, my Skinner, I won that trophy. He lost that one, you know?
Okay.
So, you know,
What did you all get them on? Second or
we got
something?
second with the
Yeah.
cornucopia.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
All
okay.
these stories
help
are
the man.
Yeah. You know,
These stories
so we,
are
you know, we
priceless.
even, I mean, even through that, we bond even much more closer with Skinner, you know, and you know, because you know, if you know Skinner, basing on his costume,
Well, you don't let anyone face
Skinner
on his
used to be
costume.
measuring and
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
nah, you gotta know what you're doing.
That's
But
it.
then
He
it came
came
to
to son,
us.
you know. We don't expect
Yeah.
no more.
He knew
No less.
what he
No
was
less.
getting, and when we came there that night, he didn't. All he said was, "Y'all, I glad y'all come to help me." When we left from there that night,
He was finished.
Wow.
Ready to
He was
roll.
finished.
Wow.
Good stuff.
You know?
Billy
Awesome.
Gold Gruff, boy.
Billy
Yeah.
Goat
Yeah,
Scruff.
and he went best costume that morning. You know?
Wow.
It was
And
Friday
You know what?
morning.
It was those horns, though.
Yeah,
It was those horns.
yeah.
Like that.
The curling horns.
Yeah.
there.
His costume was well structured, well structured.
Mhm.
You know, the
Good
thing is
old
with
days.
the cornucopia, The cornucopia was a really good costume. I've never seen no other cornucopia like that on Bay Street. That was so well structured, put together. And the thing about it, Willa built the corn. And when after he built the corn, Kenny tell him, say, when you leave from here tonight, don't come back.
That's it.
He was trying to figure it. Kenny said, don't come back.
Wow.
And everything else we did to that costume, we built it and we put that costume together.
And we'll see it on Bay.
Everybody see it on Bay. You couldn't get in our shop.
No.
See, and we in a state in Junkanoo. In those days, I think there was a value for secrecy.
Now
Right.
you see, Darren, you
Secrecy.
see, you
I
touched
wanna
that.
know how to get
Now
in the
I
shop.
got that
Yeah.
on my list now to
Right.
talk about.
Yeah,
So-
Arlene, I want to know how you got in that shop.
But it's too late now.
Yeah.
So, you know, in those days, there was this really big thing to be secret, right?
Yeah.
Secrecy was big.
Even in the groups that we were in, everybody
Yes.
couldn't go in
Everybody
everybody's
shop.
shop. And there was that level of respect,
Yeah.
Right.
right?
Right.
Now, we live in a time in Junkanoo where what secrecy is.
It ended.
You know, everybody phone and this one shack,
But
everybody's. I just think it's disgusting to be quite honest.
Yes, and not only disgusting, but it is disturbing, because we have some generations coming up, and maybe it's our fault because we have not instilled in them enough certain principles pertaining to Junkanoo that they should follow. The first one that Clint mentioned was the process of becoming a Junkanoo.
Being
Nowadays, everybody want to jump in the front line of your group without they ain't got to do nothing.
No foundation.
No, right. And when you hear him tell you how he processed up the ranks,
I can absolutely
and what
relate to the same
exactly.
process.
So that's the first thing. The second thing, as you say, is the matter of secrecy. When I talk about Junkanoo at the museum or wherever else, and they ask about the competition, I proudly tell them that we expect 500 people to keep the secret of the theme, and they do. And that is now changing because a couple weeks ago, there's a list circulating of what every group doing Boxing Day and New Year's. And I'm saying to myself, how is this? And it's stupid. You know why? Because if you know what your quote unquote, let's say enemy, not opponent, let's say opponent, not enemy. If you know what your opponent is doing, you could one up them. If I know you bring in cowboys, I know exactly what your presentation could be, and I could overstep that. But everybody is talking like it's not a problem. And it is a problem for me. And I'm used to secrecy, like you say. Not everybody in the group itself knows what the whole group doing.
But you know, Arlene, to your point, I'm wondering if that is why on Bay Street for the People's Rush,
Independence,
there was so many groups with the same
sports.
themes. Everybody had sports.
The tourist lady said to me, "Is sports the overall theme for the parade?"
Exactly.
I said, "No, ma'am." But say somebody was talking.
Yeah.
Silbertola just said that. He said somebody was talking because that was not the overall theme. How could two groups show up out there with the same theme? These young people running them out too much, man.
So this is how I value discretion. In the days of slavery, when you had to escape,
Yes.
there were certain things you couldn't say.
No.
They were understood.
And it could cost you your
life.
Okay.
Stories of the underground
Okay.
railroad, right?
All right. Talking.
So the more you talk, people will die. And I think that's one of the things that sort of passed on, right?
Yes.
This thing we call Junkanoo.
You are right.
Right?
Secrecy was your life
your
depended
life.
on it.
On it, yeah.
And we maybe we don't know these stories. We don't know these stories, so we don't understand the value of discretion or secrecy. We don't understand the value of the process.
So we ain't teaching.
It ain't that we ain't teaching. Maybe we're not teaching.
They gonna know though.
Maybe we're not teaching enough, or maybe they just ain't listening.
True.
Right? Maybe they just ain't listening.
True.
And maybe they don't care enough about the stories to care.
Or see the play enough to care.
Exactly. So there's a lot of things we used to do that had so much relevance.
That we need to bring back.
I don't know if we can bring it back.
I hope all of y'all French in your tennis.
Good morning.
Let's bring that back.
You know, the tennis, all costume ain't Frenching no more.
Folks, we're right on the cusp of everything. We got the introductions, we got the history behind these honorees.
We're gonna take calls when we come back.
We're gonna take it a step further. We're gonna get their ideas on where we are in the state of Junkanoo at this time. Here's some more of their thoughts on the next side of this break. You're tuning in to Junkanoo 242. We'll be right back.
Examples of excellence. Every Independence morning when he was alive, John Chippy Chipman sounded the call to rush at the People's Rush. His love for music had begun at an early age, and as an adult, he moved into drumming as his wife Becky moved into the fire dance. In the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, Chippy was a premier Junkanoo group leader. He was instrumental in the change from the wooden salt beef keg to the tin barrel, and he encouraged Donzel Daddy Hyler to make Bahamian cowbells. Chippy represented the Bahamas around the world, and up to his last days continued to nurture young Bahamians by teaching them how to make the drums and play the drums, and performing with his rake and scrape band. John Chippy Chipman, Junkanoo royalty, gone but never forgotten. This week's posthumous inductee into the Junkanoo 242 Shack of Excellence.
Welcome back. You're listening to Junkanoo 242. Examples of excellence. The one John Chippy Chipman, one of the few people who can brag that he had 2 jackets from the JDA.
Charlie Bella aqua jacket so much, and then he'd call and he'd say, I need one. Ain't nobody was man or woman enough to tell him we only give out one. We'd make that second one in a hurry.
Hey, wait, one of my favorite stories to Chippy though. Chippy said, he was going to Bay one morning.
The Roman
He tell everybody, walk in the bucket of white paint.
They have no shoes. Chippy was Ladies and gentlemen, we are having a stimulating discussion with 2 of our Junkanoo Independence honorees.
Seriously?
And Clint is here, and we know you want to call and congratulate them. Please feel free to call us if you are in New Providence. 325-5403, 325-5404, 325-5405. And in our beautiful family of islands, good morning. This is all about you. 1-242-300-8255. So, Clint, you told us about your Saxon segment. Tell us about your family island connection as we talk about the family islands.
Okay, well, when I moved to Exuma, for me, when you talk about loyalty, that's me. I'm a born diehard Saxon, and there were about 4 groups in Exuma at the time. And each one of the groups, they came to me and they asked me, if I could, be a part of them.
Help them. They were organized into a competition?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This would have been like around what year? Like what?
This would have been like around 2006.
2000s. Okay.
2006,
Okay.
somewhere
Gotcha.
around there.
Gotcha.
And you know, I checked them all out, and I was like, I don't know.
Not
I
what
don't
you
know.
had. Yeah.
Because I didn't want nothing to really interfere
Yeah.
with me being a part of the Saxons.
Long distance.
Yeah.
It didn't
So
matter.
my thing was that I said, hey, I will help out in any which way I could, but come Boxing Day,
You
I
gone.
can be in Nassau.
Thank you.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
you used to do your costume in Exuma and bring it to Nassau with you?
I used to come here because I know I was working along with Kool-Aid and building the back line. So I used to come, do what I have to do for Kool-Aid, build my costume, I put it on the boat, send it to Exuma, and I get the boat scheduled for when they last run, and I have my costume in Exuma pace ready.
To come back to Nassau.
And that was
Wow.
me. So, and I
Never miss a lap.
Never miss a lap. I did the same thing when I was in Freeport. The same thing I do. Same thing I do. I's a real soldier when it comes down to Junkanoo.
So the Exuma Junkanoo community really benefited from your presence there.
Yeah, because what happened is that the chairman that they had, for some reason he stepped back. He didn't want to be doing it anymore. So some of the guys from the Exuma Junkanoo, they came to me and asked me, you know, if I would like to be, you know, acting chairman for them.
Wow.
And, you know, until they could find somebody. So I say, sure. I don't have a problem doing that. But, you know, at the time, I think it was Maynard was Charles was in charge of culture then.
Minister.
And
Yes.
me and him kind of connected.
What a joy to work with.
You know, we had a talk, and he said to me, he said, man, I would like to make some changes into the Junkanoo down in Exuma, you know, that where they could benefit in the long run. So one of the things I said to them was that, hey, you know, Exuma Junkanoo is the same time as Boxing Day in Nassau. I say some things ain't can wait.
Yeah.
I say for Exuma Junkanoo to really grow, they will have to look at, they don't have to change the date, but they can change the time, and everything can kind of blend. As acting chairman at that time, I started to work with some people here in Nassau, trying to get sponsors to boost up the prize money and other stuff. And then, you know, I also told them, I said, look, I say, if we could get them to change the time of Junkanoo, that it wouldn't clash with Nassau. I say, yeah, here it is. We could get Bahamas here, we could get Western here, we could get other airlines on board, as well as we could get the major sponsors of Junkanoo in Nassau to come on down and see what's happening here. And, you know, that could kind of boost up.
Get your own little spotlight.
Yeah, so he was like, yeah, that sounds good. Next thing I know, I got a call from a guy out of Freeport who's do lighting effects, saying that, hey man, I hear about this idea that you're trying to do. Say, I would be willing to come down at no cost, set up for the parade, you know, and do my thing. So I say, that sounds good, you know. Charles Maynard at the time came back and said, look, he brought a contention of guys down to Exuma, and we meet. I think Aggie Bump was in that. Clint, Paul was there too, and they present a platter to these guys. They said, look, we know y'all just rush right downtown there, which is just a small area. So what if we look at changing the venue further back where the fish fry was, where it could be a longer route, and we could end up putting bleachers down. Now you could start making money and make things a little bit better and what's not. The idea was a really good one. They say that they could also talk to the sponsors and get them to come down to try to, you know, to boost the Junkanoo parade. But that was kind of being blocked by some of the older people down there. They were saying, oh, well, one guy came to me and said, man, we've been doing this thing for 50 years. We don't need to change nothing. And when that guy said that to me, I said to myself right then, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work, because they done got it set in their mind. They don't want change. They want to stick with what they've been doing 50 years ago. And Junkanoo is a growing culture. Also, too, it's an expensive culture, and every year you need to take a step up. You can't be going backwards. So because of that, then I started to get a lot of backlash from other people. They was telling me, "Oh, you just come here, you don't know how he's doing this." This, I even had people calling me driftwood. So I say, after I seen all of this, I then tell my wife, I say, this ain't the way. I gonna have to step back from this. I say because a lot of the people ain't looking at moving forward. Now I had some of them who wanted to move forward, but you had the majority who was fighting it. And that just went right out the window just like that. And I think right now to this day, they still doing their own thing. Mind you, Junkanoo in Exuma has gone to another level. The quality is very, very good. Guys, they doing their thing. But, I think they still need to look at ways that they can make it even better. Freeport took that initiative and they made that change. And it worked out really good. Instead of having Junkanoo New Year's night, whereas that you had that, you had people who take part in Junkanoo now, some of them and go in there to do and all of that. Now they change it where they have their Junkanoo during the holiday, which wake up pretty good. And that's the same thing I was trying to tell the guys in Exuma. You just got to look at making a
different spotlight.
Yeah, so it can make it better for you. I mean, they would have been benefiting from it, but after I started getting a lot of the backlashes, then I kind of stepped back from it. I went into when I moved to Freeport. I saw the same thing. It wasn't getting to the level that it needed to get because of having it New Year's evening, which they was doing it for years. But then you got to look at these things and you got to look at ways that you can improve. You can improve this product.
Gotcha.
And I started talking with a couple of people. One in particular, a good friend of mine, Sean Bow, who's a part of the Junkanoo committee. And I say, Sean, man, if they could look at changing this from New Year's evening and probably do it on the holiday, which falls right in place, and you don't have to worry about people have to get up the next morning to go to work or this type of thing. I say that could work out pretty good. So and he said to me, he said, yeah, that discussion did came up. He said even Will and all brought up the discussion too, because what was happening was that they don't have Junkanoo. If the holiday fall within the middle of the week, they'll have Junkanoo that night, that New Year's night. But people got to go to work the next morning. So even before the first lap completed, a lot of people already gone.
They got to go sleep for work.
Yeah, a lot of people already gone. So they changed it, and this Junkanoo this year was the first time they did it, and it was
great.
You had a lot of people came from Nassau and other family others and took part in the Junkanoo as well, and it worked out pretty good. Not just for the Junkanoos, but also for the economy as well.
Gotcha.
Before
we run to a break, I want to get you guys insight on where are we with the state of Junkanoo right now. You guys speak about a time where pasting was respected, valued, processed, everything right now. Are we losing our creativity right now in Junkanoo from your insight? Linda, I want your input on this. You understand? Because you, number one, not only from the Junkanoo arena, you're creative off the Junkanoo arena. Yes. So your ideas, your brain thinks with ideas. You understand me? My question is, we used to look forward to different costumes and building styles and patterns and are we getting that still from your insight, or are we just repeating the same mediocrity?
I'll tell you, in the past 2 parades, for 2 years now, I have been asked to judge the King Bella when it was introduced. From the time the King Bella was introduced, I've been the judge. And there's a criteria that the costume had to be 70% fringed and 30% decorated. So ever since judging the King Bell, I've been very strict. And so I have some new enemies.
Frenemies and enemies.
Yes.
Because they knew when I came to Bay Street and I go in the hole. And for those out there that don't understand the term, the hole, it's just where we start from, where you're rolling over from. So when I
behind Frederick Street,
This is sanctioned. Excuse me. This, just for clarification, this is sanctioned by the JCNP, or this is a private thing?
This is the Kishalane and
NJC.
This
will be NJC.
This is the NJC with a private private sponsors who want to, and I feel I'm like, where were they when I was a frontline bella? You know what I mean? And because we spend so much money, and this show is not nearly enough time. I was hoping we would be able to talk about some of the forward plans and thinking and what we ought to have been doing in Junkanoo from this point on. And I think that is important simply because we spoke about the disrespect that Junkanoo is getting from this new generation. And so they didn't toe the line. They didn't do all that we had to do to advance ourselves in Junkanoo. They just feel that they should come and they are entitled to do and to be whatever they like. And I have a problem with that.
Absolutely.
And so when I hit Bay Street and I go in on anybody's front line, Bella, when they're lined up, I started inspecting from the shoe to the hat. And I say, spin around. Okay? Spin around again. I want to see listen, the Valley came last year before last, and they had these beautiful costumes. They look like kings or something. Anyway.
Oh.
You remember that costume? Pure cloth. All right? And
that's the Alice in Wonderland.
Didn't I penalize them? They were mad. But I really, listen, I had to have my costume pace. And if we're going to maintain or sustain
the standard,
we have to, listen, I don't play with that. So when I come, they be looking at one another just to make sure. And the one thing I love about the King Bella is that everything has to be the same from the shoe to the hat. Identical. What that does is it engenders teamwork. Because there's a lot of individualism in Junkanoo. And competition within groups and among each other. So if we are a team as frontline bellas, then let's be that. You know what I mean? I'll tell you, in my time, we kept secrets. We're not going to tell you all the tricks we're using in certain spots in our costume because we want to outdo you.
That's the point.
Yeah, we want to outdo one another.
Right.
And that if you are a part of a line in Junkanoo, you should be working as a team.
Together.
And these are the fundamentals that are necessary to sustain this thing called Junkanoo. It's very basic, but we have to learn at least to be a team. If not, go in the dancer line, and that's where you could be who you want.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Listen, I am a strong proponent for pasting costumes. So if I'm judging the King Bella and you ain't right, you can't win. And I make no apologies.
Let me just piggyback on that.
Quickly for me, please.
A lot of Junkanoos don't understand the art and the craft of Junkanoo. It ain't the decoration, It's the pacing. It's the pacing.
That's your opinion.
People just pile up.
On this day and age.
They just pile up all these stuff on the
because they can't pace.
Put in all that effort of trying to pace a costume, and then you can jungle it up with.
But the costume is not paced. They're not paced.
That's true too.
We gotta run to this break. We got one more break. We went into this final break. Into the Junkanoo 242. We'll be right back. And now for news off the shack wall. Happy birthday greetings goes out to Lynette Hutchison, Christina Muswin Fernanda, the chairman emerita of One Family, also Taran Pappy Davis, and Edward Reverend Cooper. and also Latoya Roll. Also, belated birthday goes out to Ruben Rumpa-Pum-Pum Delavo and Kevin Paparazzi Cooper, who celebrated on July 10th with the country. Happy birthday, gentlemen. We invite you to contribute to the medical fund in aid of Preston Lord Frog Evans of the Music Makers. Donations can be made to the Scotia Bank, Soldier Road and East Street, account number 13191, in the name of Sharice Evans. The Junkanoo Development Association thanks everyone who made the People Love and Unity Rush a huge success. Before we go, we want to say congratulations out to Mrs. Latoya Rule on her achieving her award as she is in Edinburgh, Scotland, attending her graduation. Of course, you know the pictures will be out. We have some other Bahamians over there receiving awards. Also, the countdown, it is Saturday, July 12th, 2025. In case you ain't know, Bastian, we are 23 weeks away from Bay.
Sound like that right there, boy.
That is right. Once independence go, that's it, Bella.
Listen, I just want to congratulate Anishka. That's her name?
My Lord, yes.
Listen, I had to leave Bay Street. I was tired.
True.
But I watched one family's presentation on Bay Street with those choreographed dancers.
That was my proud to be Bahamian moment.
Epitomizes
truly
brilliant artistry.
Brilliant.
I'll say to the other groups, take a look. Take a page out of Anishka Fernanda. Out of her page. When they formed that 52 on Bay Street. I looked at that video over and over, and I said, and these girls corking up and doing all of this crazy slap dancing. That's not choreography. And y'all don't want me have to be the judge of choreography.
Oh, Lord. She coming! Get ready. They were outstanding. That was different level stuff.
Totally.
The drone was in place.
Yes.
To make sure you could eventually see the whole. They had on their pearls, their gold shoes. They were outstanding.
Listen, I say to you ladies, you leaders, you so-called leaders of choreographed dancers, I don't want to see no slackness on Bay Street. We want artistry. Artistry.
That's what you ain't judging. In judging them. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
The shit is real.
We have had such a wonderful morning, and of course, we reserve the right to bring Clint and Linda back because each one of them is a show.
I am leaving the show now. I can see y'all next week.
This has been a treat. You only started to get a taste of why they were honored on Thursday morning. Their contributions to the development of Junkanoo have been outstanding, and we are really honored to have had this conversation with them this morning. The half has not been told, but we reserve the right to have you all back. We've only touched the surface, and we want to talk about the way the direction Junkanoo is going in. We really didn't get into that in detail. And you all have unique perspectives. And so we look forward to having you back. Gentlemen, closing words.
The afterglow of independence.
You see what, as my
aunt
would say, why you can't prosper. This is why you can't prosper.
And this show was definitely non-paral.
You see when you hang out with coffee. You can't prosper.
Silbert, one cup of vodka can do all kinds of things. And I can leave out with you, my friend.
But on a serious note, Clint, do you have any closing words? We have a minute. And we can have
I would just like to say, and go back on what Linda was saying, that, we wish we had more time to share a lot more of our history, because I have a whole lot. Someone tell me I could write a book.
And you should then.
So you know, I would be looking forward to coming back again.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
we
sir.
look forward to
So I
having
can,
you.
you know,
Great.
give a little bit more
It's
insight.
a unique
because,
insight.
yeah. But it's been truly good for me to be here.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm still getting all of the props. You know, even though this
Basking
morning,
in the
I wake
afterglow.
up this morning, I check
In
my
the
phone, and I
afterglow.
still seeing a lot of people
That's good, man.
congratulating me.
Beautiful.
You know,
Well
and
deserved.
everybody telling me the same thing. You know, it's well deserved.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so thanks for having me here, and looking forward to come back again.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for everything that you've done. Madam, the Queen.
Don't bring me back with Clint. He has a history all of his own. He need a whole show.
Each of you need your own show.
Yeah,
Don't
you
worry.
know, seriously.
No, seriously.
With his history with the Family Island connections and all,
Yes.
he needs time to really tell that. And I'm not.
This
I'm
is
saying
just
that,
the first run.
Yeah. But listen, I'm very impressed with all that you have done. Clint, you deserve that jacket. How long it take you? 40 years.
49. 49.
But who's counting?
Nobody was counting.
I get proud to know that I get it.
Listen, but let me tell y'all something. You know, the Bible says, and I said this earlier, we make our plans, but God orders our footsteps. And let me tell y'all, this could not come at a better time for me with my political aspirations and being honored now and looking futuristically at being in charge of culture, and this happening now. This is, I can't tell you how perfect this is.
Great.
It's perfect.
It's
and
been
so
wonderful.
I'm grateful, and thank you all for bestowing that jacket on me. And I just want y'all to know the niggas out there waiting for theirs.
You know, I just want to slip something in here. I know I can get a lot of feedback. I know some people can be mad at me because I wasn't able to mention their names or nothing in it, but
next time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
next time.
So, ladies and
One
gentlemen.
more thing.
Oh, yeah.
The views expressed on this
Are not necessarily the views of the Broadcasting Corporation of Bahamas or Junkanoo 242.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, and on that note, we bring today's show to a close. It has been a special treat. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And so until next week, remember, this is Junkanoo 242, all about you wherever you are in the 242 and abroad. And until next week, make sure now that you let everything that we all do prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that we are all proud to be Bahamian. We'll see you next week.